Having worked in the fishing industry for over 30 years, I get a lot of people asking about quiet syndicates where members can escape the busyness of day ticket lakes. One water I can certainly recommend is the beautiful Nipton Reservoir run by AGS Fisheries. Situated in the heart of rural Leicestershire, this 27-acre water holds carp to mid-40. I first fished it in April this year when I spent 2 nights on the venue, but come the middle of June, and with most waters in the UK close to spawning, I had 3 nights to see if I could catch a carp or 2. Right, and this is the swim I've gone for, which is known as the beach, and I'm fairly sure I don't need to explain why it's called the beach, but when I was here a couple of months ago, the water was a lot higher than what it is now. It's probably down about 2 feet. I think I was bivvied up just round the corner on the grass round there. At the moment, down by where the rods are, it's so muddy, it's almost like Chantecaille in France. It's going to be fun running to the rods if I do get a pick-up, because I can see myself getting stuck in that stuff. But the main reason I've gone over here is because this is the side of the lake that you can only access by boat, whereas the other side of the lake you can drive to some of the swims over there, so there tends to get a lot more pressure. And at this time of the year, when there's been quite a lot of pressure on the lake since the beginning of the year, I always think the fish tend to go to the areas where they know there's not going to be anglers. And round in the bay round to the left there, that's the area that they were spawning in, and it's only just opened again after spawning, so there's still quite a few fish hanging around in the weed out in front of here. When I came over here in the boat, I could see a few fish disappearing into the weed, and at the moment there's been quite a few fish cruising up and down, not too far out, only about 10-15 yards out, so I'm not fishing too far out at all. So this side of the lake, just to me, looks like it could be a good area to try for the 3 days that I'm down here. And out in front, what you've got is a lot of weed, but there are some clear areas out there. So all 3 of my rods have got some nice clear areas, probably 15 yards out on the left-hand rod, a little bit closer on the 2 on the right, and all I've done is just scattered about 1 kilo or so of boilies over all 3 rods, mixed sizes of baits as well. I'm just using the bug at the moment from DNA, so I've got plenty of confidence in that. I know it works. It's the same bait that I caught on when I was down here before, so I'm fairly sure that over the next 2 or 3 days that I'm down here, there's going to be a good chance of me getting some action, because it's that time of the year when they have just finished spawning. They're going to be up for a feed sooner or later, and you know, it's nice and warm at the moment. They're very active and moving about. It's probably 27 degrees or so at the moment. It's about 6:30 in the evening, and it's been a really warm couple of weeks, so it's ideal feeding conditions for carp at the moment. So yeah, fairly confident that something's going to happen, and all I'm going to do now is just get my own tea on, because I'm not eating anything all day, and I've only just got here and got the rods out, so let's get myself some food and sit back and hopefully get myself a carp or 2. Whilst I was eating my dinner a few moments ago, it came to me that I should have given a bit more of an explanation about why I've set my rods up like I have, because there will be people wondering why I'm using a pod with 2 rods and single bank sticks on the other. And the simple explanation to this is that I've not brought enough bank sticks with me. They're all in the car and I can't be able to go and get them, so I'm just using one with single bank sticks and the other one on the pod. Now, the other thing I need to explain is why I've got my tips below the surface, because I'm only fishing in 2 or 3 foot of water and I'm not very far out, so the line's going right across the deck, and there's quite a few obstructions about. As you can see, there's sticks sticking up and all sorts of stuff. But the reason I've put the tips down below the surface is because, as you can see on the left-hand rod, there's a few ducks over there, and this lake's used at certain times of the year for shooting, so there's loads of mallards on here, and they all start gathering at this side of the lake any time about now. It's 8:30 now, but by the time it gets to dark, they're going to be all over here, and they're going to be going through my lines and bleeping the alarms and just keeping me up all night. So I decided to put the tips below the surface, and it just keeps them out of harm's way. Yes, it's not the most effective way to fish on this particular lake when it comes to bite indication, but it's definitely better to make sure that I get a good night's sleep rather than being up all night from false bleeps and problems with the birds. The other thing to mention here is my lines, because normally when I'm fishing close in I do slack line, but because this lake's so shallow there's no need to fish like that, so I'm keeping them nice and tight. That also helps with these birds, because if the lines were slack and they started wandering up and down in them, they're going to get tangled in them, and it's going to cause me all sorts of problems. So I'm fairly sure that the tight lining approach is the way forwards at the moment, but I'm happy with the spots. as I said earlier, I've got them on 3 nice clear areas, and there's definitely lots of scope in this swim for me to rove them around if I need to. You know, around to the right here, there's options out there, some clear areas out in front of me there, and you know, there's lots of areas that the fish can come in and out of this bay to the left, so it wouldn't surprise me if by tomorrow, if I haven't caught anything, I'll start investigating that area around to the right, or even a little bit further out in front of me here, because there's lots of nice water over the back of the weed as well. It drops down to, I think there's a few spots out there that's about 10 foot, 9-10 foot, and those areas could be worth a rod as well. So we'll just see how things go, but for the time being, I'm fairly happy with how things are. I've just got here, and don't normally catch them at this time of the night, so it's caught me off guard a little bit, but that is a great way to start, and that's almost certainly a 30 plus, so lovely. I'm not going to weigh him because it's too warm and I just want to get him back. It's not a monster, but it's a big fish. Awesome. Sorry about showing you my feet, but just wanted to show you that this bivvy is so good, because you can take all the sides down, so you're just left with this mosquito mesh, and around the front as well, which is lovely on a night like this because it's so warm. And there's no way I'm going in the bag. I think the temperature tonight is going to be the lowest 18 degrees, so it's on top of the sleeping bag, just chilling out, and what a lovely evening. I've just had a 30 plus, and it's now time to just settle down and enjoy a lovely estate lake. Look at that sky, that is beautiful. Stunning carp, huge scales on it, an absolute classic English carp, proper estate lake carp in fact, the sort of carp you'd expect in a stunning water like this. Wellies, yep, not very carpy, but definitely needed for this swim, because look. Yes, very tasty. Look at that. Oh, yeah, not good for putting the rods out, but necessary. So I'm going to set this rod, if I can move my feet, and hopefully get out of here and get the kettle on. But it is a bit tricky, I must say. Right, let's get the bobbin on. And there we go. Now all I've got to do is get out of here, which ain't going to be easy. Right, that's one foot out. I've got a broken toe at the minute, so it's not the best for that, I can assure you. And it's almost as bad as shanty, trust me. I've fished there. Look at that. Lovely. Just having a walk around the corner from where I'm set up and looking down the lake. It really is a beautiful place. All those swims that was on about earlier on that you can drive to in your car, that's where they are. And it's a lovely side over there. It's a lot more covered by trees, so if it's a warm day you're obviously not going to get that direct sunshine as you're going to get where I'm bivvied up. But look at the woodland behind here though. It's lovely, isn't it? I don't know what that is over there. It's some kind of summer house or something, but lovely trees. I just love waters with trees. You know, it's so mature, this place is. You know, England's got some really wonderful carp lakes. It really has. We're blessed. You know, this year I've not been doing much overseas fishing. I had a trip to Rainbow Lake that didn't really turn out to be anything special. And, you know, it looks like I'm going to be fishing more in England as well this year. I spent a lot of time in Germany last year, but I don't think that's going to happen much this year. But look at it, it's beautiful. Who needs to go overseas when you've got lakes like this to fish? Fantastic place. You know, there's carp in here to mid-40s as well. I don't know how many 40s are in here. I think there's 3 or 4. And there's definitely one fish that's about mid-40 that hasn't been out for a year or so as well. So who knows how big that one could be. But yeah, it's lovely down here, it really is. It's the perfect water for blokes my age. If you're over 50 and you hate day ticket lakes and you just like a little bit of solitude, your own company, just escape everybody else just interfering with your life, then this is the water for you. Lovely, listen to it, it's just silent at the moment. All I can hear is the wind in the trees and those stupid ducks as well, but I can live with those things. They're better than being on a busy day ticket lake. Too many people wandering into your swim and telling you what they've caught and putting buckets behind your swim, which I just hate. What a wonderful place, it's totally silent. England's got some beautiful waters, it really has. Especially these ones on the state lakes that are right out in the middle of nowhere. And this is one of them. It's a stunning place. Well, bite time has just come again, first thing this morning. and just landed this lovely male. It's actually milting on the mat at the moment, so it is that time of the year when fish have just spawned and they're hard fighting, and this one sure did put up a good scrap. But lovely, great start to the day. Right, it's 7:30 in the morning now, and I'm just sitting watching the odd fish cruising through quite close. So they're definitely coming back in here today. I mean, it's a little bit of a different day today. It's more overcast, a lot cooler. It is going to get warm this afternoon again, but this cloud cover is going to stay. So I'm expecting them to come into these closer margins again, because it's that time of the year when they're going to have a feed. It's post-spawning. They need to repair all that energy that they've just lost in the most stressful time of the year. So I've got quite a decent bed of bait out there. There's probably about 1 kilo of bait spread in front of a weed bed. You can't really see it from where you are at the moment, but only about 20 yards out there's a nice goldeny coloured clear area there where there's a few patches of bubbles coming up off the bottom, so it looks like there's definitely something down there now. And it's all surrounded by a lot of weed, so it's a perfect place really for this time of the year. 'Cause it's only about 2 or 3 foot deep there, and you know, there's been fish coming through here yesterday, so I'm expecting them to have a feed down here at some stage today as well, because it's prime for it. You know, this time of year, it's always a good time of the year to be on the bank. You don't get the fish at the big weights because they've obviously spawned. It's hard to recognise some of them because they lose that much weight, but they're always having a feed. And I always think at this time of the year, what you tend to get is those rarer fish getting caught because they've lost a bit of weight, they've lost a bit of energy. They have to turn to food to start replenishing their energy levels, repairing the damage that they've lost from spawning. So you do get these rarer ones that start making an appearance. And you know, there are some rare fish in here as well. There's quite a few scaly mirrors in here. There's a few old leany strain fish in here by all accounts as well, and 1 or 2 of them are absolute bangers. So I'd love to see one of those on the bank, but either way, it's nice to be out. It's a lovely day. There's only about 3 of us on the lake at the moment as well, so it's very enjoyable to be sitting here now in cool conditions, knowing that these rods could go at any minute. When it comes to on-the-bank carp protection, the Avid carp cots are hard to beat. Available in 2 different sizes, a standard and an XL, their popularity on UK lakes and across Europe has made them one of the best-selling carp protection items on the market. Not only do they offer fantastic all-round protection to the carp, they pack down very easily and weigh next to nothing, making transportation super simple. They have a unique folding design, which means the 50mm thick padded mattress doesn't need to be removed, and each cot comes with side stability bars and high-walled sides, which give great all-round protection. The standard size measures 1000mm by 500mm, with the XL measuring 100mm longer and 150mm wider. Shop around on the net and you can pick them up for as little as £65 for the standard, which is a fantastic price for an item that every angler should be carrying in their kit. Right, didn't get any action last night, so I've just gone out in the boat and had a look round to see if the carp are still here, and they're definitely still in front of me. They're still in that weed round to the left, and although most of them are little, there are some big ones amongst them, which would be nice to get amongst before I leave, because I've got about 24 hours left now. What's happened is the fish have marked the areas that I've been catching from, because I've had 2 days of action from those spots, and you can't keep catching them off the same spots day after day without them getting a little bit sus of those areas. So what I think they've done is they've marked those areas, and they're moving out a little bit further now. They're about 10 or 15 yards behind where I was catching them from. That's where they're cruising up and down. So I'm going to go out in a boat in a minute and have a look around and see if we can find a few other areas to try in that sort of area. And you know, another thing that's happening now is the ducks have started diving on the bait where I've been catching from close in, and that activity from the ducks always spooks fish. And obviously you just don't want to be feeding the ducks, you want to be feeding the fish. So I'm going to find 3 different areas to try rather than just sitting there and blanking the rest of the session out, because that's what would happen if I just sat on those spots and carried on fishing them. Sometimes you need to look for different areas in the swim rather than changing swims, so that's what I'm going to do, because I'm still confident that there's plenty of good opportunities to catch fish out of this swim because the fish are still here. So let's get in the boat and have a look around and see what we can see.
good fish.
The weather has definitely not been on my side for the 3 days that I've been down here, but the fish have thankfully had a nice little feed, and it's been a very enjoyable few days. And I hope you've enjoyed watching this short little film about my fishing on a very, very nice syndicate water.